When you hear the topic of marriage, you usually think about one or two things. That marriage should come really easy, or absolutely not, do not get married, run the other way. Well, for those of you that have seen the introduction to the stories we carry, I was getting ready to get a divorce this past year. My life was in shambles. The papers were drawn, the separation of houses were going into effect. We were both doing our own thing, and it just wasn't good. Ultimately, we still decided to not divorce. We gave our life back to God, and He has been at the center of it. And him and I have been going to therapy separately, working on our own trauma, and really just working together to figure out how we can communicate better. And I'll say, although it's not perfect, it's a complete 180, and I never thought that this would be my reality. With that being said, you guys have asked me when Giovanni was going to get on the podcast. Well, today is the day he will be on the podcast. He finally agreed to get on here, and what better time to bring him onto the podcast than for Police Week? The series on Behind the Badge is about knowing who the person is behind the uniform. And so I'm very thankful that he was honest on this podcast, because I learned a lot of things for the first time. But he was also very honest that although he wakes up every single day doing something that he loves and serving and protecting others, he did not know how to come back home and handle his own mess. And so I really hope you guys enjoy this episode. Please don't forget to subscribe to the podcast if you haven't already, so you don't miss out on any other conversations like this one. Let's get into it. All right, everyone. Welcome back to the Stories We Carry. I'm your host, Gabby, with 1B and 1Y. And today we're continuing on in the series of Behind the Badge, the special that I decided to do to shine a light on Police Week. And today's a special one because I'm finally going ahead and introducing you guys to the man who sets up all of the equipment, and really, you guys have heard him on the podcast, like his name being mentioned, and so many of you guys have said, when is he going to come on? When is he going to come on? When are you guys going to do one together? Like, I really don't know what the big deal is between the two of us, but he finally decided by the grace of God that he was going to come on here and do it. And so you guys know him as Gio. I'll let him speak and introduce himself to you guys.
I'm Gio. I'm the one that sets all this up. Free podcast. I'm also a police officer. Been policing for 5 years now. Before that, I was a dispatcher, which led me on to my policing career. And yeah, that's about it right now.
Now, if we're going to be so real when it comes to like the policing career, when you were in dispatch, why didn't you talk about anything that happened in communications? When it was time, you were big and mighty to go ahead and be like, this place is hiring. The DIS division is hiring. Do you want the job?
Honestly, it wasn't that I wanted to be a dispatcher, because...
No, and I'm not asking you about being a dispatcher. I'm asking you about why didn't you talk about it when you came home?
Oh.
You went straight to gaming. Straight to the game. Took a shower, straight to the game.
A lot of that, too, was whenever I was training and I first started.
Yeah.
Because I was... Stressed is definitely the word, but...
You didn't say you were stressed. I mean, I could see it, but you didn't say you were stressed.
Because I was stressed out from all the information I was learning and gathering and dealing with every day, and then stressed out at work to coming home.
And did we already have the Sophia?
Yeah, we had just had Sophia.
Mm-hmm.
She was months old.
Yeah, that was chaotic.
I started in July and she was born in
September. Yeah, 2 months in.
Literally 2 months. And then the training for dispatch was 2 months. You either got it or you don't. You either got it or you're...
Yeah, now it's a little bit more time, yeah.
So starting, my trainer didn't even want to train, which...
Oh my God.
She's still there now. She told me, Gio, I don't want to train. I'm not going to be, You train,
Oh,
but I have to train you.
this is the one that calls you Sweet Pea.
Yeah, this is.
Oh man, you can't go and tell her nothing about Sweet Pea.
That's my work mama. But yeah, so she trained me. And mind you, we came into dispatched when there was like a whole shift of dispatchers that up and quit. So there was a shift that was short. So there was like 2 people per shift. Geo, you got to learn this, and you got 2 months, 2 weeks on phones, 2 weeks on this dispatch and the other channel, and go. Good luck.
You didn't say any of that when you came home. I guess maybe, what, did you not think I would understand? Probably not. I didn't understand anything.
So yes, and then honestly, whatever got my head just clear was coming home and just playing Xbox. I guess I was drinking a little bit there too.
I mean, if you were drinking, I didn't know.
I'm not really
You were-
alcoholic, but
you were
would
eating.
drink a bunch of beer, and I did eat a lot. I ate a lot.
But you were like very avoidant.
Yes, I just was stressed out and so much going in my mind from just work and just learning. I guess the job. I wanted to get the job, and I always wanted to do everything just so perfect.
Even this podcast.
Even
Be
this,
so
even
for real.
the intro, when we first started, like we had to do it like 3 times, which is just natural for me. I just want everything so perfect. So when I get home, I was like, holy shit, I need to cool off, and I just need to clear my head. I'm gonna eat whatever's in the fridge and sit down and game, because I got to wake up at 5 a.m. to go to work the next 4 days.
My thing is,
that was that messed up schedule.
So you know that for some reason, for so many years, we've been like, people have always put us together like, oh, that's the dream team, Gabby and Geo, Gabby and Geo, Gabby and Geo. That's like the picture perfect that you wanted to sell. And I mean, we've been like so far from it. You know,
Oh yeah.
that our inner circle knew how messy
Oh yeah.
our marriage was and how our lives were. Like having kids at an early age, and then moving out of state at an early age, and then not knowing anybody here, and it just being us with our kids.
That was tough because we had no help. My dad, but he had his own things going on. His own, he's got his own life, and
We had mom fly out here
Mom-
once a year
your
so
mom
we
was
can go out.
definitely a big help. She
Yeah.
helped us a lot. She still helps us a lot.
Yeah.
But like when Sophia was born, and then you stopped working because it was just so expensive to
Man, we made it,
daycare
you
to
guys.
make $10 an hour. It was just to pay the daycare. So.
We made it on what, $1,000 in our savings? And that, oh my.
And that $1,000 was what we got back on taxes, and that's what
Man,
paid
that
the
thing,
car.
that was beautiful. It paid for the car. It paid for the groceries. I mean, I bought stuff from like,
Well, no, the grocery we got some food stamps there for a little bit,
no,
barely.
no,
Like $100. No,
No, we did
when moved
not.
From Florida, we had the food stamps.
we had,
No.
no, sir. No, sir. We didn't have
We
no
didn't?
food stamps. No, sir.
When we
You know
lived
where
in
we had,
Florida.
no, we had food stamps. You had food
I
stamps
had
in
food
Florida.
stamps in Florida. When we moved
Not
over
here. We couldn't even
Oh,
touch
my
the
God.
surface.
You're right.
We kept
You're right.
trying and
You're
trying to do it, and it didn't come out. It didn't. Like, we just kept getting rejected. I would buy my clothes from the thrift store, like a nice dress, $1.
not buying
Hey, you hated that,
Oh,
that
no,
bag.
no, no.
I couldn't afford
Because
anything
you
for
say
myself.
because you said thrift store,
Oh
and
my
I thought it was like
gosh.
use people's clothes and underwear. I'm not gonna wear nobody's.
Nobody's selling.
Nobody.
Nobody's selling used underwear. What is wrong with you? No, it's like clothing. If it's brand new, practically brand new, they wear it. Well, how many times do you wear anything in your room? Nothing. You wear the
I wear
same.
the same like 5 to 6 clothes. And
Do
I
you
mix
have
and
5?
match with my shorts?
Do
I
you
wear the
have
shirt.
5 or 6 shirts? Do you have 5 or 6 shirts?
I have like the 2 polo shirts that I wear out of the 20 I have upstairs.
Correct.
and then
So
the
if
other
you were
3 or
to
4
go
t-shirts I wear.
and give it away, donate it, and the thrift store takes it,
Yeah, and then
somebody's
resell
gonna
it.
buy that. And I mean, it was sitting in the closet the whole time.
I mean, I get it, but I
You
just-
can't do it. You're too hoity-toity.
the way I thought a thrift store was like, I'm gonna go buy somebody's used.
Underwear, yeah,
Handbags.
yeah, that's exactly what that is.
Which, don't get me wrong,
It
what
worked.
Only if you can, if you know, if the only thing you can afford, you can afford. I mean, I get it. I guess situations, but I guess I wasn't raised like that.
No, you were not.
I wasn't raised like that.
Can you tell us on how you were raised? I say it because me and you, it wasn't until recently when I went to therapy. I mean, we don't go to therapy together. We ended up starting to go separate because essentially both of our therapists said, like, I think it's best that you guys do it separate first before we even touch getting together, because we have like childhood stuff that happened that was so different. Our childhood upbringing,
Oh,
baby,
opposite.
night and day,
Completely opposite.
completely opposite.
Completely opposite. Just because I was raised, I guess, in a nice house setting, decorated. You know, the house was always decorated. My mom always had everything maintained, or has still. You go to my mom's house and it's
But you get that from your mom.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
guys
yeah.
go in, it's like, you need to have the towels. You can't dry your hands with that towel. But why do you have towels there? Si no se pueden usar. You can't use them.
Because eso for decoration.
No,
So
no, that pisses me. That's a waste of money.
it's not though, because it's nice.
You see, that's just something we disagree on.
But again, going back to what we were talking about how we.
The way that we were raised and all that stuff.
Oh, I'm sorry. I was going back to even before we were talking about that. We were talking about like when we had Sophia. And
Yeah.
Going back to like before the food stamps, like we only on one income, I guess, on my income, because
Yeah.
the daycare or whatever childcare was so expensive because we had nobody here
Yeah.
other than dad. But he had to work, and his wife works, and
Just doing the finances, I was stressed beyond. Like, I mean, you had no. I mean, you were stressed too, I bet. But
I mean,
the way that this man loves spending money, I mean, forget about it. I was spiraling, baby.
it was horrible. So like $12.25 is what the starting pay was
Ooh.
for dispatch.
Yeah, that's crazy. How did we survive?
That was $1 more than we made at that call center we used to work at.
Yeah, yeah.
And even before at that call center.
Man, I remember when I was like, oh, I'm getting paid $10.
I was like, oh my God, you can't pay $10 an hour.
We laugh at that, but that was a really good time for us.
It was good. And I guess you were working and I was working, and
We just kept going up, moving.
even then we worked there together. And we didn't have kids, so that money that we made
Just went to us,
it
really.
wasn't a lot, but it was money that we had extra, I guess, so we
Yeah.
could spend or whatever. But then we had we had Sophia first. And I was working alone. That's when I started working in dispatch, which was super stressful. I honestly don't even know how I lasted.
I don't know how you lasted there. You can't even sit down on a chair.
Cindy always messes with me. Like, she's always.
So she would talk about all the time about how you would just get up, bebop your way through this.
So we sit there for 12 hours. I mean, you're
To
the
the department.
there. So we sit there, and then it was just me and her.
Yeah.
It was just a two-man.
Yeah.
Because after I got trained, it was just me and her. I'd be like, Cindy, I gotta go. I gotta go get a cup of coffee. I'd go
No.
to the detective.
You'd abandoned this woman? No.
I'd talk. I'd be, hey, I'll be back. I'm gonna bring you some coffee, and I'd be back in 15, 20 minutes because I'd see somebody.
And you wouldn't be able to work under
talking,
me.
And then I'd be like, oh my God, I gotta go back. And
No.
So, but Cindy would hold it down, and then
I mean, yeah, she held it down, but I also know how much you can talk. Like, just thinking about it now, you wouldn't be able to work under me because if you telling me you bebopping away for almost 30 minutes, or
like
the other.
I don't know how I made it in dispatch
I don't know
for 3.5 years. It wasn't even my plan really from the get-go. I always wanted to be a police officer. I'd take that statement back. Not always. At first, I wanted to be, go to the paramedic route. And
Correct.
After high school, when we graduated, I went to EMT school. But that's when we were living in Florida, and
then we moved here, and it was a completely different thing.
I went to the technical school, whatever. So I got certified as that. But then we moved over here, and I realized how much EMTs make here, and I said, "Yeah, no." We ended up working at the call center, so I was studying. So
it was going to be the same price.
So
same price, same pay,
the same pay. So I was like, all that studying and all that, I can go make 25 cents more or the same working in dispatch.
How long were you in dispatch for? It was 3 years.
It was July 2016 to
19,
April of 20.
Oh, so 4 years.
Just 3.5, or just a little bit over 3.5. So April right now made 5 years that I'm on patrol on the road.
Okay, so when is it that
July will make 9 years.
When you finally shifted and said, "That's it, I don't want to be in dispatch anymore," because I mean, you were overweight and you were stressed,
I was so stressed, and
you were miserable. I mean, be so for real, you were miserable. You were miserable when you came home. You were miserable.
I honestly,
when you were at work.
Honestly, I like the adrenaline rush that you get, and that busyness that you get, and you got to run 20 licenses, and you got somebody on 911. That was fun. But other than that, I'm not going to say
that's where I get my rush from.
But it was enjoyable. mean, there's times that you get that crash on the interstate and there's 20,000 people calling. You know what I'm talking about, that annoying, like, we got him on the way. We got him on the way. Is the crash there? Yeah, we got him on the way.
Is it there to move?
I don't know how, I don't know my weight when I started dispatching. I know I got huge.
You had no hair.
My God, my hair! I lost my hair. I swear. I'm
We look
missing my hair. Like,
man. We literally look so much better now.
I look like I was 48 years old when I was 22 years old, and now that I'm 30, I look like I'm supposed to be like I fit when I was 20.
Correct. Yeah.
But when I was towards the end of the dispatching era, Sergeant Daniel, he was in training.
Yeah.
JD.
That's right.
And something, I don't know what it was. Again, I don't know what he saw in me. I don't know. And I told him
Hold on. You say what he saw in you. I don't know what it is about this man. And I mean, that's something I've had to pray about for a little bit. But I was telling him for years, you can go be an officer. You can go be an officer. And it was like, yeah, I can.
Well, yeah, okay. So,
but you were telling me, hearing it from another man is just a little bit different. Like, okay, he saw something in you.
I'm going to go back to JD in just a second. I guess let me backtrack. I went to the EMT school, moved over, or before that, my brother was... Honestly, hey man, F being a fire, just go be a trooper. You know, he was a trooper. So I did that. I failed the test. I actually got discouraged from it. Like, I failed the test by a couple seconds. I was out of shape. I used this excuse of my broken hip when I was little and I have a screw in it. I used that as an excuse. Still hurts. I don't do nothing about it, though. I guess I don't stretch. I don't exercise like that.
But even if the temperature changes, it hurts you, right?
Oh, yeah. Like, the weather changes, it gets cold, and my leg is on fire. My knee, my dislocated knee, where I broke that femur, my broken ankle, my elbow. I mean, just stupid injuries when I was a kid that...
I mean, you would never know if you didn't say that you had any injuries. You look fine.
So, I failed the FHP test, the PT test. I got discouraged, and I said, police is not for me. It's just not for me. I'm not going to do it. Did the EMT. I don't know what that was.
That was
our Google.
But you did all of those things, and yeah, you were in dispatch, but what is it that happened with JD? I thought it was Petaway.
No. So, okay. JD saw me one day in the hallway. I don't even know. It was like randomly, I was just walking to the hallway, and he's like, man, what the fuck? Like,
that sounds about like him.
What are you planning on doing with your life? You want to be a dispatcher the rest of your life? And I was like,
excuse me.
Internally, I was like, what the fuck, dude? Like, who are you, man?
Some people honestly, do want to be dispatchers for the rest of their lives.
I was like, Sarge, I mean, no, I don't want to be a freaking dispatcher for the rest of my life. I wanted to be a police officer, but I got discouraged, and I'm fat as hell, and I was just, so what he saw in me, I don't know, but that made me realize that if he thinks that I can probably do this or that I could do this, because he actually told me, I was like, man, I hope, I pray, I wish. He goes, don't wish, do it. Yeah. That's what he told me. He said, don't wish, go do it.
That man.
Ass in the gym, which I've always looked up to him as a dispatcher. I just, anyway, that interaction with him, and I started going to the gym, and then Petaway, which my buddy, love him to death, saw me in the gym one day, and he's a freaking big
buff, muscular man.
Muscular, always in the gym, just a gym freak.
Yeah.
So he's just
got that attitude.
He's just a gym head. Always, he was a basketball player in college, whatever. I asked him in there, like, man, can you help me get fit? Like, give me some. I don't know how to work out.
Come on, man. Help me out.
So he asked me, he goes, man, are you committed to doing this? Like, do you want to do this? And I told him, yes, I want to do this. I want to change my life. I want to be a police officer. I've always wanted to, but I got discouraged, yada, yada. Every day after work, pretty much, unless he got busy doing something, he would meet me at the gym at 6 o'clock when we get out for the 4 months that, rotation from days to nights. He would meet me at the gym. He would text me, hey, I can't go, or hey, get your ass here. Like, you're working out. I'd show up. I was doing push-ups, incline, decline, female push-ups with weights on I did every kind of push-up you could do, running, just basic,
Yeah, I mean, I remember when you were going
we
through the
weren't really
training.
working out like weightlifting. We were just getting me ready for the PT test so I
Yeah.
could pass it. And honestly, he busted my ass. And the days that he didn't go, like, I'd motivate myself to go and continue doing that. So, and when I went to the PT test, so JD was in training. We did the PT test, and I passed it.
I remember when you called me and you
I
told
was
me you
super
passed
excited. I
it.
was like, oh my God, I can't believe I did this. Like, this
Yeah.
was so.
You were like, finally, I'm leaving.
Yeah. So,
This bad.
yeah. So that's pretty much how the transition came. And after that, it was just.
You said you make 5 years. Is it 5 years this year that you make?
So it
In patrol.
on the 13th actually was the 5-year mark.
So now, what your career so far for those 5 years? What has been the most difficult parts about it? Because I mean, you enjoy it, you put on a brave face, and you do good and show up.
What do you mean by difficult? Like difficult
So-
part of the job? Like what's the hardest thing?
So,
Police officer.
well, I mean, as a police officer, you guys have this persona where you just like, meh, whatever, like moving on, no problem. But I mean, you guys go to a lot of traumatic calls, and you're a photographer, and you got to take pictures of dead people. And you say like, oh, that doesn't bother me, but I'm like, I'm the person that sleeps next to you, and you out here screaming. So you have some stuff that you haven't tapped into. I don't know if you process it or you toss it.
I guess I don't know that. I know you told me that a bunch of times that you're like, man, are you okay? You're like dreaming, like making grunts.
No, like you do like this thing where you like
Make a noise. What do I do?
you just like no, you just like breathe really hard, like like breathing for air, and you just looking at me, and I'm like, are you okay? And you're like, what's wrong? And I'm like,
I don't,
nothing, everything's okay.
I don't know about that.
I mean, obviously you don't. You're like in the middle of the sleep.
When I go to sleep, I'm out. Like I'm out. But a lot of that stuff, I say it doesn't bother me. Right now, it doesn't bother me. And a lot of like the dead bodies and stuff that, like the natural deaths or the suicides or whatever. I guess I just adapt to it because that's my job. Like we're supposed to show up to the calls, and if I break down and
Yeah,
act,
you have to
that
desensitize
person
that.
that's there crying on their worst day because their loved one's dead or whatever, and I start acting just like them, they're gonna be like, "What the hell?" Like,
You
like,
can't help me.
yeah, So, but stuff like that, I don't know, and it's nothing they train you for because you don't go to the academy and they train you. Hey, this is the way you're gonna look at when you go to dead bodies, and you don't learn that stuff. That's just stuff. That
A
you
lot of
have to.
people have said like, the images of like the dead people and the smell and all those things. But some people
Yeah.
don't get affected by that.
So that you see, that doesn't affect me. We go on the calls and there's legs here and arms here, and
Man, I'll never forget. You sent me that. When you can't go and just send somebody a photo of something.
like it's crazy. Like it's just. But and then again, eso no me molesta. That doesn't bother me at all. That was the stuff that there's actually one call that bothered me, and it wasn't even
What was it?
bad. And it's not that it bothered. It's just nasty.
What?
There's a call. I was working in the hospital. I want to say I was working in the hospital. The detail we just said.
Yeah.
And a car shows up, and this dude gets out of the car, runs in the hospital, and there's blood like all over the inside of this car. Like
Yeah.
it's a little 2-door car, and there's blood, like puddles of blood all over the steering wheel and the
Oh my gosh, the man drove himself that way?
So I didn't see him because he ran out. We're parked a little bit away from
Yeah.
the entrance, but
Yeah.
the nurses called me on the radio, hey, or the security call you on the radio, hey, come in here. Like there's assault is what
They're thinking, yeah.
So we get there, and this guy's got his like head is cut open. I mean, you can't see his. I don't know if that was a skull, but I guess his head was just like some of his hair on his head was just pretty much flapped over. Cuts all over his arm. His skin's all.
Let somebody chop him up or
His
what?
skin's all flapped over. So he got cut up with a box cutter. Drunk
Oh,
Hispanic guy.
we were working that day. I was working in dispatch.
I don't know.
Yes. Yes, I was, because I remember trying to translate a box cutter.
Probably.
When you say cuchillo,
This was like 3 years ago.
yeah, but when you say cuchillo, that means knife. He kept saying something else. I'm like, bro, is this man? So I was like, and I was like,
Well,
oh, it's a
I don't
box
know.
cutter.
I want to say this
Yeah.
guy was Guatemalan or
yeah.
Mexican. One
It
of
was
them
a
was Mexican,
Hispanic
one of
guy.
them was Guatemalan. They were drunk. They were all drunk. So
Dang, a box cutter
we
could
end
do
up
something like
finding
that.
out. We end up finding out where the house is. This guy kind of tells me he's out of it. Like obviously he's cut up, bleeding. I know. I mean, he lost a lot of blood. He survived, but
That's
we
intense.
found out where the house was. So officers get to the house, and there's a bunch of other Hispanics there. I'm the only Spanish-speaking officer, so they're like, "All right, Gio, when you're done there, come over here."
Now you need to go over there.
So me and the sergeant, he meets me over there because we got like 3 guys. We're calling detectives and stuff because whatever. It's pouring. It starts pouring rain, by the way. So mind you, all this blood and stuff is.
So is that the blood that bothered you?
No, it's not that it bothers me. It just reminds me of. I guess I'll get into it in just a second. We end up catching the guy, I guess, for the story. The sergeant ends up going to the back in the little shed, and he goes, and then I go behind him, and he, we detain him or whatever. He's completely intoxicated. He's drunk. I mean, he is completely soaked and wet because I don't know if he showered and then went to the shed and it started raining as well. But anyway, we go into the house to make sure before that to see if the guy was in the house. And we walk in the house. There is blood from the roof to the floor of this.
Holy crap.
And it's puddled.
Why so much blood?
I guess where he got cut on his head and he's drunk, so his blood's thinning. I don't know,
my body's getting so numb. Did he need did he probably need a blood transfusion after all of that?
I don't know. He ended up surviving. Again, I don't know if it's because he was drunk. I don't know.
It was like his head probably like squirting. I'm being serious.
I mean, so when we walk into
you're getting sliced up in half like
so we walk
chicken.
into the front of the house. There's a bedroom. It's the living room, but it's just there's a bunch of people that live in the house. So
yeah,
when we go into the
very
house,
normal. Yeah.
When we go into the house, like we have to, go around tiptoe and
to not step on the blood.
The hallway's about this wide, and there's blood all over the wall.
That's crazy.
All over the kitchen. The kitchen was the worst because he went from the bedroom that he got cut up in, and they got in an argument.
My body's so numb.
He ran towards the kitchen, but the kitchen was blocked off. He couldn't leave through the kitchen because they use that as separate rooms and stuff. So there was no access from where the original house was.
And he drove himself to the freaking ER like that with his head cut open, and there was no signs of. I mean, how do you even catch somebody that's in that trauma?
He drove to the. I'd take that back. He didn't drive. So, the other guy that was in the house drove him. He was in the passenger side. I'm sorry. He didn't drive, but somebody drove him to the hospital.
My body's still numb. Oh, I can't talk about stuff like this.
What gets me, and not that it gets me, what reminds me of that night was when we walk outside or anything, and there's like a little puddle, and it's that quick, like that footsteps.
Wow.
That reminds me of that night, which it was completely fine because
the blood.
Yeah, it reminds me of that blood.
Wow.
And I can picture the house and. It looked like a slaughterhouse. It looked like a slaughterhouse.
Man, this is like something out of a movie.
Yeah, it would look
okay, so that's considered PTSD.
But again, it doesn't. It's not that.
I mean, I know you're not walking around like, oh my gosh, there's blood everywhere on the floor.
It's just something.
But that is PTSD
of the night, I guess that I remember that I could see the puddle in that. The other guys that would walk would just, if you stepped on it, it would just make that, and you could see a little bit of the splatter.
I give it to you guys because you guys look at a lot of dead people and you smell a lot of dead people and you got to go and deal with all those things. And you got to take pictures of them and they're not looking at you. It's just like a soulless body.
Yeah, I mean the worst is kids. And
oh yeah,
I hate going to kids' calls.
Yeah,
I mean obviously accidents and stuff, car crashes. I hate when there's like kids in them. Obviously when people die in them,
the ejection for me is what gets me.
But the kids, and I guess because we have kids, and I think about when they get to that freaking driving age, that 16, and that I don't want them to drive. They need to drive. They need to learn how to drive. But I'm so terrified for them to drive. And it's just
it's really hard.
Crashes and whatever. But like the kid calls or the deaths are, I hate them.
I mean, I don't
stuff
know.
We have to deal with. It's just part of our job.
Yeah, I know. But for everybody that's done it,
I can do it. I love it. I enjoy it. Those are calls that I wish I didn't have to go to, but I mean, we got to go to them.
That's everybody that has to go to it.
Somebody's got to go to them. So.
Well, so you deal with all those stuff, and that's not something. I think, that story about the puddle, that's the most I've heard you talk about anything like that. You don't talk to me about anything that really happens at work. It wasn't until, so the whole thing that happened with us in the sense of what we've been together for years. I mean, we've been together, we've been friends, and then we started dating, and then whatever, we moved. Then eventually we had children, we got married, all that good stuff. Our marriage was like super far from perfect. Anybody who was close to us, like we've said before, knew how bad it was and like how toxic it was. And we work opposite sides so that we can take care of our children. And like us not seeing each other, we didn't realize how much it actually affected us. It distanced us a lot.
Oh yeah,
And
for sure.
it wasn't until like when I had my breakdown here in front of your family, that was your last straw for our marriage. And that was my cry for help because I was like fed up with like how and you talk about like, oh, I have to be perfect and all these things. Well, it was just enough for me to just lose it, just seeing you going and catering to everybody else. And I would ask you for something and it would just like, and you didn't see anything of it. But I was very ugly that day, everybody. Like super ugly, like crazy, crazy tendencies type of ugly. And that was it. It was what, the next day that you asked for a divorce?
I don't know if it was the next day. I think it was your birthday.
Oh,
If I'm not mistaken, it was your birthday. And honestly,
that's not funny.
I didn't plan that.
That's
accordingly.
fucked
That
up.
was just the last straw, and I guess
That's crazy. That was my birthday because it happened around the time of the kids. That's fucked up.
I mean, but we would, and it was just argument after argument.
Yeah.
And again, I don't know who it was. If it was,
It was both of us.
It was both of us, and a lot of it was. I got to the point where I was just working, especially when I first started. I would work and work
and work and work and work.
And when I started working overtime and how much money I was making, I guess extra, and like, oh yeah, I got to sign up for that. Oh my
And you
God.
never said no.
They need me. They need me. That place needs me. That place can't function without me.
Yeah.
Need me.
I did the same thing too, though.
They're short. Geo, yeah, I'm on the way. And then I don't know if they got used to me just going in all the time that I was like, hey, call Geo, he'll come in. I don't know if it ever got to that. That's what I was thinking. But I would still come in because I was like, man, that's going to make me look good. And that's also my work ethic just in general. I just, with every job, the call center, dispatch, I would always give it my all. But with patrol, when I first started, it was just working. And when that overtime, proactive patrol, I wanted to learn so much. Like proactive patrol, I'd sign up and work everything. Hospital detail, funeral escort, whatever you need. If you need me to come and just serve a couple subpoenas, I'd come and do it just cause.
But you didn't. Did you even realize how bad it was affecting our marriage?
No, because
it was bad.
Because my focus was my job.
We would talk. It was like it's just like now. Like
I don't know why.
10 minutes. We get 10 minutes a day with each other.
But my focus was my job. That was all I wanted to do was my job. And then I'd get home, and then you'd tell me something, and it'd tick me the hell off, and I'd be like, "No, I'm not doing that. I'm gonna go. Oh yeah, I'm stressed. I'm gonna go play a video game, or I'm gonna just.
Hey, can you take out the trash? Already set off.
Yeah, everything would tick me off, and it wasn't. And it got to the point where I guess I got used to that, and I would just do it all the time. So, the nagging and the nagging and nagging, in my point of view, was nagging. Because I'd be so stressed coming home from work. And I was like, oh, shit, now I got to go back to work because I got to work overtime. Yeah, I'm getting paid for it. Cool. That's great. Always great. But then I come home and stress, and now I got to come and I got to do the garbage. Or now I got to come and I got to do whatever chore that, that you need me to do. Because I would always use the fact that, oh, I'm working and you're just staying home. That's what I thought.
That's crazy.
That's like, I'm working all day. All you do is stay home with the girls. Like,
oh my gosh, that's terrible. Like, this is the first time you're telling this. That's crazy.
I know.
Do you know what it was to stay at home with the kids? Now you do. Now I do. And hold on, you don't even have the worst part of it because they talk.
Oh yeah, no. But I'm saying like, especially whenever the kids were little.
That was hard.
And I was like, all you got to do is just stay home with the kids. Make sure the house is clean. Just have dinner ready. Great. I'm working. I'm bringing home the bread. I'm taking care of the bills. Yada yada.
Man.
And honestly, I'm sorry for that because now, whenever you go to work, just fucking 5 hours with the kids, which I love them to death. They're our kids.
You're overstimulated.
I'm like, holy shit, just give me a quick break. Because
Papi, 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 papi,
that
papi.
and they don't know. They're not.
No,
They're
it's
they're
just, yeah.
kids, and I'm just like, oh my God, I just want 5 minutes to myself for a minute. And it's just,
Yeah, but look how long it took you to like recognize, like, oh my gosh, she actually did do a lot for us.
oh yeah. But again, that's just the mentality I had, was just, I'm working. What the hell? Like, I work all this overtime at work, and then I come home and she expects me
How
to do
come
this
you
and
how
that.
come you never told me anything? You would go straight to avoiding, and then I'm going on a tangent, like cussing and like screaming, and like this was, I mean, it was like I said, it was like a toxic household because again, we're doing this in front of the kids, and for a long time, like the kids got used to that. I'm like, we have a problem. Like we're raising them in a toxic household.
But then we go somewhere, and then it's like, man, they got it all together.
Yeah.
They're like, man, that's fucking perfect. Man, they're perfect. That's the way people would ask. So, like, man, how do you do that? How do you work all the time? And
Yeah, and how you make it. And then the worst thing that could have happened is that I started working where you were at opposite sides, because when you asked me for the divorce on my birthday,
mm-hmm.
I mean, we did. So we stopped wearing our wedding rings. We stopped communicating.
No, we were going through with it completely. Like, it was, I mean, I ended up going and getting an apartment.
Yeah, you got an
An
apartment.
apartment.
I started drawing up the paperwork, and we sat down and we separated everything. And
Which is fucking horrible. I did that. That was like one of the worst, honestly.
yeah, but I mean, you
I talked to my friends, like, my close friends.
there was not one thing that you were showing me. This man came, he was like, hi.
She wanted a pair of headphones one day. I bought her a pair of headphones. Christmas, when did I buy it for you? I bought you some Sony headphones for
Yeah,
your
but
birthday,
we had already passed that. Remember, this happened like for a couple months that we were not okay when we were drawing up the
it was like
divorce.
September, and it wasn't until like end of
You couldn't move till December, so we had to live together. Yeah.
But we were like sleeping separate, and like, it was.
Yeah, we didn't talk to each other, nothing. And then we had to, people were still coming up to us like, oh, Gabby this and oh, Gio this. And that was like, for me, at least, I'm like, do not. It was already an awkward situation.
Mm-hmm.
Do not bring it up to me. And he's talking about the headphones. My headphones, I was literally in the gym and one of the headphone parts just popped out. And I was just trying to make conversation because he had bought me the headphones. And I said, hey, the headphones you bought me broke. And he said, oh, okay.
I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
I mean, good luck. I mean,
he was in the closet. He said, all right, I got to go to work.
yeah, I just go to
That was that was a wild interaction because I was like, holy crap. That was like coming together for me. Like, we're done.
Oh, yeah, it was dark. I hated it.
It was done. Like, we were done.
And I'd say that, but not even then. Like, I don't think we were good for
Years.
Now thinking now,
Years.
I'd say for like a year, I don't know.
Years.
I'd say, but right now, this has been like the best our relationship has been for
Ever.
9 years. And now
Yeah.
on 10.
If you really,
5 years of our marriage.
if you think about it, there was always something major that was happening. Because I talked to this about my therapist, to my therapist. Every single year that continued to go by, we had something major occurring to where we could not function properly. We could not process things properly. So we, instead of working together, we worked against each other. We were out at each other's throats. And a big thing that I struggled with, which you don't really do anymore, sometimes you do, and we've talked about this, and we said that was something that we were going to work on, is that you would always put everybody from appearance, because you're a person of appearance, you would go and put everyone, like, oh, so-and-so's coming here, or I got to do this for so-and-so, and then I'd be like, hey, can you cut the grass? Can you take out the trash? Can you make sure that the girls have X, Y, and Z? And, oh yeah, I'll take care of it. It was like false promises, and that was really heavy.
Mm-hmm.
And the big thing for me was, I always asked for the divorce because I was tired of it. I didn't want to deal with it. It was easier for me to run away. You are the opposite. You wanted to just not give up, right? And for me, in that aspect, I thought like, okay, well, you don't really want to be with me. You just don't want to give it up because it just looks too good. Your family looks too good.
Yeah.
And then when you really put it all together, it's all chaos and shit. it was probably one of the worst. That's where I found my faith. When we were drawing up that paperwork, I was like, all right, we're going through with it. Let's see what happens next. And then that's when you were like, nope.
And it's funny that we talk about that because even like going back to like when I go work, like I go and deal with so many relationship problems at work with DVs.
Yeah.
And I go up there and I'm telling these people what they need to be doing and how they need to work their relationships, and I'm giving them advice. And hey, man, you guys just need to figure this out. Sit down, talk. This is the advice that I'm telling them. Hey, man, you guys sit down as grown-ups, talk about your differences. But then I come home and I don't know how to deal with my shit.
Pretty much.
I mean, that's just it's an everyday thing. Like that's literally one of my go-tos on a family dispute. Hey, man, listen, you guys aren't in the domestic violence part yet. You guys got some differences you got to work out. Sit down, go to lunch.
Did you feel like a hypocrite?
Oh, for sure, 100%. Now thinking about it, yeah, because then I'd come home and I was like, oh my God, now I got to go home. Now I got to deal with this shit at home. That's the way I thought.
And that's so sad to hear.
It would make me always want to go work again. I'd honestly just,
oh yeah, you were trying to convince me.
I would come home, like I get out at 6 and I'd come home at 8 or 7:45.
Yeah.
Sometimes I'd say, hey, yeah, I just had a late call. And honestly, I just sit in the freaking parking lot at work on my phone.
And that's what was happening. Well, you forget, like, you were trying to convince me that, oh yeah, no, I'm staying home. I'm staying after late, whatever they call me. I worked in the same freaking place as you, ding dong. And I'd be like, oh, this man's talking about how he's so stressed out, all these things. He's like, what are you talking about? He hasn't done anything. Ratted you out. You forget who we work with, type of thing.
It got to that point where I just didn't want to come home to, all right, now I got to go deal with my baggage at home and argue about
what did you think
taking the trash out the other day, or just that's something simple.
But what did you think was going to happen if you just never came home?
That I'd come home late and then we just like, I'm tired, I'm going to shower, I'm going to go to bed, I got to work tomorrow. And then we don't have to talk about.
We don't have to talk about anything. We got to wake up in the next day. You're going to get a text message from me. You're going to get a phone call.
I don't know. And then I would honestly blow those text messages off and like, I'm too busy to look at the phone.
That's crazy. That's so sad.
And that's just the reality of, you know, that it was.
So when it was like that, why did you wait till that breaking point near my birthday to go and get a divorce if you were already out of it? If you were just like, oh, shut her up, like, don't want to deal with her, only any of these things.
I don't know.
Yeah, that's something you probably got to figure out with your therapist.
Yeah.
Because I want to know the tea.
No, I know. I honestly, I just, after going to, you know, which I'd never believed in therapy, I guess, because.
You finally went. What was it? Because I gave you the you were looking for one.
I was looking for one because we said, hey, let's do couples therapy or whatever.
And we couldn't find nobody together.
Hey, honestly, we couldn't. I don't know if we couldn't find anything.
I couldn't find anything of people together.
You know, but then at work, we tried looking up therapists. And
I gave you
out to HR, and then they never reached out.
They never ever, because everybody went and everybody found out. Everybody found out. The whole PD found out, and you know, again, if it wasn't for the shift that I had, I mean, they were taking care of me without me even knowing it. And I literally could not stay in that place without breaking out in tears. I had my crying corner. I was like just a disaster. And I did a lot of what he did. It wasn't just him. I did a lot of they need me, they need me, they need me. I guess that was around the period where I was trying to get promoted and all those things. And I was like, stressed out beyond freaking measure. And then it wasn't until we were going to go and get the divorce where I was like, well, I mean, none of this matters anymore. I fought this whole time to have what? I don't even have a family. I don't have anything. Yeah. And it hurt even more because we knew each other for so long. How do you tell yourself that there's something after that, after you've known each other for so long? And it wasn't that we stopped loving each other.
No, I mean, of course not, because I don't know.
You said it was a rough period, but I never saw it, never heard it, nothing. You were really good about covering it up.
Oh, yeah, and I think I always am good at covering stuff. If something bothers me, I mean, eventually, I guess, me or my wife, you'll know I'd say now you know if something's wrong with me because I've been talking to you about it now. But even then, like going back to couples therapy, we still haven't done it.
No. But it was our therapist that said no, we need to do our own right now.
And I'm open to doing it.
Yeah.
Now that I've been to therapy.
Yeah.
But even then, like when we said, hey, let's give this another shot, or let's try going to couples therapy, we reached out to HR, and we never got nothing back.
It wasn't HR. It was
HR. I'm sorry.
HR helped us. It was
send us the
gosh, what is that called?
HR is good. I'm sorry. HR is good.
HR was helping us. It was oh man, I forgot what it is. Well, there's like this program that helps, and you can be seen within like an immediate amount of time and all these things. And they changed. I don't know what it's called. I completely forgot.
Well, anyway, I guess we just have to go out and look for the shit ourselves.
But they changed those providers now, and so that's how we were able to find out that we got coverage for everything, and they were taking care of us. Like it's a really good benefit through where we work.
So,
but I gave you the one because I was telling my therapist about what we were going through, and she said, "Hey, reach out to this one. She's literally specializes with first responders." And then you said you went to your first session, and it was good.
So I reached out before that one when you told me, hey, look, and I said, yeah, I'm open to it.
Yeah.
Which I guess I wasn't at the time just because I didn't know what to expect. I was nervous as hell, like, just because I didn't know what to I'm talking to a stranger about something that I don't need help with. That's what I was thinking. I'm good. Like, it's my own shit. Like, I'm cool. Like,
I'm cool.
It is.
You were not.
But, I looked up another one, and he reached out. I can't remember his name. He was in Opelika as well. He reached out to me. But she reached out to me first. I reached out to multiple, but she reached out to me first, so I gave her the chance. And she gave me an appointment ASAP. And I sat there, and honestly, my first appointment, I was nervous. I sat down there, like, shaking the whole time because I didn't know what to do. But it was an hour session, and I promised that hour passed by.
Oh, yeah, you blink, and it's, like, gone.
I was like, holy shit, I just talked about
so many things.
So much. And it was our first one, which is more like her kind of learning about me a little bit, but that was quick, and I was like, wait, no, like I want to keep telling you stuff. Like, no, you got to make another appointment and come back. So I was like, okay. So it was good. We kind of did. She gave me some homework, kind of some stuff.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah,
and that helped. Which I need to schedule another one because
it's been some time.
I haven't been for several months, and I guess it doesn't hurt to go back and sit down and I guess talk. She helped you a lot. Just like how to separate things and process it a little bit more. Like I guess even then, like, even that just helped me, but gave me advice and kind of things to do to help our relationship as well.
Yeah.
And our marriage. Which I'd like to say that some of it has definitely worked. We still have arguments and stuff, but I think that's a normal thing every day.
For me though, like my thing that I was telling my therapist that's like toxic is it can be, the thing is that you see things one way, I see things another way. We're working opposite sides.
Oh, yeah. And that's terrible. I hate that.
It's absolutely terrible.
Which is great for the kids.
Gosh, but it's like affecting us so much in our marriage. And people always ask me, like, how do you do it? I'm like, I don't.
we just, it works. It's great. And the PD has been really good for us. Like, they've helped us out. Because I know at one point they said, hey, why are you guys not on the same side of the wheel?
Yeah, we wouldn't be able to take care of our kids. Yeah.
They wanted to swap us up to be on the same side. Like,
to think that one's going to be 9 and is she turning 7?
9 and 7.
Bella's turning 7?
7.
Oh my gosh. So 9 and 7. And they were, and when I started at the PD, Bella was in pre-K, or not even pre-K. She was in daycare.
Well,
and she's 7. Oh my gosh.
Sophia makes 9 years old.
Yeah, well, all because of them putting us on opposite sides. Like we requested it. We've been able to raise them, and I mean they're already big.
Well, that's the thing. We have nobody to pick them up.
Yeah.
Do this, Now, if we were to be on the same side, which hopefully soon enough, and it'll work out that.
Yeah, I don't.
Same off days. Yeah. And they're old enough to stay in the house for an hour or two. They know how to use the phone, the microwave, use the bathroom.
That's how they did to us when we were younger.
They know how to do that stuff. They know how to call 911. They know the address. They know, they know not to open the door for anything. And it's, if they need something, they could call.
They did good today. They were downstairs while I was taking a shower, and they said, "Mommy, they rang the doorbell. They left you a package. We didn't open it."
So stuff like that. So now it's good. Like before. We couldn't, because if we were both at work, who the heck was going to take care of the kids? Because we have your mom couldn't be here all the time.
Yeah.
My dad was working, or vice versa. But now that they're older, the same side of the week or whatever the case may would be better. But I guess we've just done this for
Years.
5 years now.
Yeah.
No, I'm sorry.
For
4
me,
years,
for
probably
me,
4
it's
years.
4 years. Yeah.
So 4 years.
Not too far.
We've been on completely opposite sides where you work and I'm off, and then
Yeah.
when I work, you're off.
We both have to spend our off days.
Day shift.
Ugh.
This right here is the most time that we spend when we work day shift,
Yeah.
and then
Night shift, forget about it. We don't see each other
6
ever.
o'clock at night to
6
10 or
to
11. I try to stay up late always. So 6 to 11.
You make it to bed at 7, and I'm over here like, I'm gonna go to bed at 7:30, and you're like, no, stay up.
To me,
I'm exhausted.
The thing is that I get home and then I go to sleep and I was like, okay, my day's done and I wasted a day.
God, I love having me a good sleep after a long.
But this is the most time that we
spend together.
Unless we take off like this last weekend where we took off when we go to the beach, which is great but that's the only time.
I mean, I was working, with the podcast.
You have to use vacation, or I have to use vacation,
Yeah.
so we can have just some time together or whatever.
Yeah, it's a lot. It sucks.
We've done it for 4 years now, so I guess I don't know how we do it. I guess we're just used to it at this point.
I wouldn't even say that we're used to it. It's just something that we have to do.
It works, I guess.
And
right now, it works. It sucks for sure, but it works.
But all of
I want to
this,
spend more time with you,
like the healing that we're doing, or like our marriage getting better, I mean, that's only just recent, really, because we were still like rocky. And it wasn't until like all the stuff that was happening to me recently that you're aware of, like, it made me realize, like, for the past 2 years, I was also failing you because I was putting people, places, and things before our marriage. Like, first of all, we messed up because we didn't have God in the middle. Because once we put God in the middle or in the front of it, it changed everything. And then I was having friendship and connections that I didn't need to have. And instead of going to you, it was like I was talking to everybody else and spending time with everybody else but you. And like, I see it now, and there's nobody there. That you're still here.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the worst parts about me.
I mean, I'd say it's the same for me. Like I'd always say I'd put you first. I didn't you put you first, but kind of same thing. Either my family would, or whoever I was hanging out with would come first at the time or whatever. But
Yeah.
no,
And just like
you said, we put it in God first, and I mean,
I did it with mine. So like God came into the picture. Like I told you, you asked me for divorce, and that was it for me. Like that was the straw that broke the camel's back. When is it that because I would pray. I was telling Dillard about this. Like I was trying to get you, and you'd be like, no, I don't want to. And then I'd pray about it. Like, okay, I can't change him. I mean, you know what you're doing. He hasn't left. We've been here for years. Like, if this is toxic and I did this because I didn't ask you or didn't pray over our marriage, any of that, we did all that stuff. I'm like, can you please, like, give me some, grace or something? And like, suddenly it was within that week that you were like, hey, I read some scripture, and I was like, I remember I journaled, and I was like, oh, you have a funny sense of humor, God. Like, look at him now.
I don't know. Dillard is one of my closest friends, probably one of my best friends, I'd say now.
I've never seen you flourish like this before, though.
I don't know. I mean, God has recently, I say that I'm sure he's always been in my life, but he's recently now, I guess, where I'm seeing it because I'm praying.
I just tear up because I remember.
But
I remember the kids. I was really thinking about the kids when we were talking about it. The kids were like, when they started going to church, they started reading the Bible. And then they saw us, and they were like, you and Papi aren't fighting anymore. They were like, you're no longer fighting anymore. Can you believe that? And they were like, you guys laugh more than you fight. And I'm like, oh, it's for so many years for so many years we fought in front of those children. And I remember when we broke their heart and we told them that we were getting ready to live in 2 separate houses, and
that broke my heart.
they had to go to counseling, like at the school, because they were acting up, and because their houses were going to be different, their lives were going to change. And that was a lot. Not that if you ever get a divorce that it can't be done. It was just you and I, we weren't I would say like we were getting ready to drop the paperwork, but I felt like we would be around each other, and if we decided that we were parting ways and all that stuff, we still wouldn't be over each other.
The only funny about this story
Oh
is
God.
Bella being and the kids just being excited about a bunk bed. That's the only thing that was hilarious about it. But other than that, the whole fucking process sucked.
I mean, you
Honestly,
sold them on that bunk bed. They were like, Bobby is gonna get us a bunk bed,
and that's the only thing I can do is try to make them happy. I guess that's what I was thinking. Just whatever they wanted, a bunk bed, a dog, whatever, just to get their mind off of that. Mom and dad are splitting up because
yeah.
it was horrible. Sophia was doing bad. Both of them were doing bad in school.
Sophia was doing really bad.
She struggled in school, and I don't know if it's just because she was worried her anxiety about us or splitting, whatever.
She had a lot of anxiety. I mean, she doesn't really have it that much now, if you've noticed.
Oh yeah,
I mean, she still worries and stuff like that, but she would just be a whole lot calmer now to it. Like before, when she found out that we were getting divorced, she would bite her nails,
oh yeah,
like to the crisp, and pull her hair.
and she was she took that bad. I took it bad. I mean, like I said, I don't.
Yeah,
I
when
don't
you
wish
say
divorce on anybody. And before, when I was a kid, I was like, man, just split up.
for some
Split
people,
up.
it is
Honestly,
better
it
because
sucks.
you know when something's done. You know when there's no love there, and that was the problem that was with us. You know, talking to other people and all these things, and like trying to be like, all right, like whatever, he's doing his own thing. We're not wearing
Wedding bands.
our wedding bands and all that stuff. Like essentially, he's a free man. All these things, like he's gonna find any woman and all that stuff. I mean, you were selling it. I don't know what you were selling to these folks, but you were selling something really good, and I want to know what you were selling because they were like, "Man, Gio's really just happy. He makes it seem he's looks like he's ready to be away from you." And I'm over here like a skeleton. I wasn't eating. If it wasn't for Grayson, who was like, was it Grayson? Grayson does that for me now. Somebody was like, "You need to eat."
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, no, I'm not eating. I don't want to do it. I don't remember who was on my shift at that time.
And
Grayson takes care of me now. I don't know who take care of
that
me
just goes
before.
back to like we can sell it. Like when we go somewhere, even if we were bad, we'd go somewhere and people, are, oh, they're good. And that's the way I was when we were going through that divorce. Like we'd go to anywhere, and I'm good. Home life is great. I'm good.
You said, I'm moving out.
I'm good.
We're done.
But then I'd come home, and then when I remember I'd sit down up there and just, I wouldn't pray because I wasn't there yet.
Yeah.
Didn't, not that I didn't believe in God. I've always believed in God, but
Your mindset wasn't there.
to me, God wasn't helping me right now. This is just bullshit I got to go through. I just got to get through this part of life, cry a little bit. Once we sign the paper, we divorce, we're good. But once I met Dillard, when he got back from his deployment, we got real tight and we just talk. I just sit down and talk to Dillard. I like Dillard because Dillard will listen and he just talk and give me some advice. And we end up one day, I can't remember what we were talking about, but one day we just started talking about God. And I mean, from there, I'd go and like, man, Gabby talks about that. And she told me about that. And then I just think about the stuff that we've talked in the past.
Yeah, because I remember when you told me that, I was like, so I tell you that, and it doesn't stick to your big old head, but Dillard tells you, and it does. And that was one thing that, I read in the scripture, like, and that I was taught when I was doing Bible study was, it doesn't matter where it came from, right? Like my ego was getting in the way. I should just be happy.
You wanted to be the one to.
I should just be happy. That's in every.
Not doing what I said.
No, it's not doing what I said. No, it's when there was a major thing that happened, you becoming an officer, you now like getting into your faith, and every step that we've actually been in, like I was never the driving force behind it. And so for me, as your wife, I feel like, okay, I'm thinking of it as like, okay, well then I must not be your girl or your wife because I don't do it for you like that to where you get this inspiration. Mm-hmm. I'm not a muse in your way. It's like somebody else is always taking the part. So that was like, all right, well, we don't need to be together. You're right. Like we're done. Somebody else is going to give it to me.
I mean,
I think anybody could give us whatever and we weren't together, but honestly, we just weren't in that headspace where we were going to be like, to be with anybody else because we still wanted to be together.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, like I said, I don't when I like talking with Dillard and also with Henry and Eddie, and Choopy, they would give me advice.
A lot of you, I would be so for real. Not a lot of people like me. Anyways, I'm tough. I'm like a tough cookie.
No, and they always say like, man, Gabby's tough, and Gabby, man, she gives you so much shit or whatever. But now the way they know you and they talk, like they understand it.
Yeah.
Obviously they give me shit about you just messing around or whatever. But they give me advice like, man, if you love her, then be with her. But if you don't love her, then you got to deal with that shit every day. So move on. But that's the shit that they would tell me, and that was just straight up like that makes sense. But talking to Dillard and bringing the God conversation up, like that, I guess I went to church with Dillard for the first time.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah.
Which that was.
You FaceTime me.
We're still trying to. I say we're still trying. I'm just trying to find something. I liked it, but
we like the ones online, and we like
yeah.
Pastor Anthony Mitchell, and we like Pastor Mike McClure Jr.
Yeah,
but like that's.
Then I went to the church here. I was like, man,
it doesn't hit like them.
It's nice. Don't get me wrong, it's nice. We read, but I want to hear the word. There's a lot of singing in that one, which is fine.
There's a lot of singing in all the other ones. I told you that.
There isn't much word. It was.
They don't show it to you.
It wasn't that much work.
They don't show it to you. Those freaking episodes or like the sermons, they go on for 2 hours because a whole hour was on singing. And they're like, all right, you gotta go. You gotta go. I'm gonna keep you. These folks are going out there for a very long time. But now we got into our faith. One major thing, because you were the one that I told about, like, of wanting to do my podcast, like, first, obviously, and all these things. How was it, like, when I finally came open? It was before we went to peer support. When I was like, hey.
You said, hey, we got to talk.
We got to talk, and you were like, yeah, cool. Did we have the kids in the house?
I think they were in school. You had just came back from therapy. And
I came back from therapy, and but I had gone to
my therapist said I have to tell you, but I can't. And then.
Well, because I told Mom first, and then she was like, all right, eventually you'll have to tell him. Yeah. And then I told you what happened to me as a child. Did that clarify a lot more on why I was a certain way?
It definitely did, for sure.
I mean, it was years that this was happening where I was like super like strong and tough and angry about a lot of things. And then suddenly when I told you this, like, I didn't know if that solidified anything for you, like to understand me a little bit more on why I was doing the things that I was and why I got on to our kids and all that stuff.
Yeah, for sure. And I understand that now 100%, that I know what had happened, because
to a certain extent, yeah.
Before I was like, why are you getting on to the kids about that? They're having fun. Like, let the kids be downstairs. And you're like, no, they can't be downstairs. Or,
yeah.
Just so I was like, I feel like you're getting on to the kids for no reason. I understand now why. Obviously, I put myself in your shoes.
Yeah.
And to kind of see your point of view. But definitely 100%. Now I understand why things were the way that you wanted them to be because of your, traumatic experience that you had. But
I mean, I'm not longer like that anymore, really, truly.
No, and
the kids can be downstairs.
Yeah, and it's great, and they're having fun, and they're laughing, and would make you worried instead of just letting them be kids. And I feel like I feel like you've learned, because you've said it before. They're having fun. They don't know what your point of view is. They don't know, like, why are you getting mad at me about, or why are you getting on to us?
Yeah, and that's not for them to go and be like, oh, this is what happened to me when I was younger.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why you don't do that to, they're innocent. Yeah, but it was like working with my therapist. We went through like, okay, you need to process that they're downstairs. They're literally only watching TV. And now, I mean, if you notice, I'll go and I'll take a shower and I'll let them watch TV. It doesn't bother me that much for them to be alone or by themselves. They argue like cats and dogs, but with all of those things that are happening, like, I mean, it was a lot of work. And I remember she was like, oh my gosh, he did so good with like your reaction. She was like, how did he react? And I was like, he didn't say anything. He just gave me like a really long hug. And she was like, oh my gosh, that's perfect.
Well, yeah. Like,
because some people don't react the same way.
And that's the thing. I'm always in a support you and be there for you with, whatever you had going on. I mean, I'm still processing, obviously, what happened to you,
Yeah.
learning how to deal with what had happened. But then again, it's just a learning process now. We just got to work together. And
Yeah. I mean,
I want
she's,
to handle whatever you're going through the way you want me to handle it. I don't want to handle it the way I would want to handle it.
yeah, I
That
mean,
makes
it just
sense.
works. Yeah, it just works like both of us on it
So,
together.
yeah, I kind of follow your lead on, I guess with whatever
With
scenario.
certain things, yeah,
Yeah. So
on what
obviously, I
it
kind of
is.
follow just your lead at that point.
But this, I mean, like that whole thing, like once I told you, and then we went to peer support, and I was like a disaster, and I said it in front of all those people, like that's it. That was literally what like made this whole podcast come together.
Yeah, that was the spark. That was because once you release that,
You saw me less and less.
it's like a night and day difference from even when you told me about it.
Yeah,
It was like like
yeah.
1,000-pound elephant just off your chest is what I guess that's the only way I can explain it.
Yeah.
What I saw in you, like you were like, oh, I don't have to worry about that no more. It's kind of like
Because I mean, I was always tense.
I mean, I know obviously you had to live with it, and with whatever happened, like, you live with it every day.
But it's
You
not
learn to
something that I
live
was
with it,
holding on
and
to
you
it.
learn now how to deal with it and like process,
Yeah.
And I guess I'm learning how to do it now, and obviously the kids don't have any idea, and I don't think they ever need to know.
I wouldn't think that they need to know.
That's a conversation.
I guess if they watch the podcast, they could see it, but like,
Yeah, I guess that's another conversation for another day. If
yeah, they don't need to worry about any of that.
but just that relief, and not
Yeah.
just you openly talking about it with our close friends and your family, and it's led to this, to you doing this and wanting to. When you said that in front of the 30, 40 people, I don't know how many people were there. When you said that in front of
About
just a
30
bunch of
people, yeah.
random ass people that you've never met before in your life,
Yeah,
and their reaction was like, "Holy shit!" Like she's had
pretty much.
a traumatic experience. I've had a traumatic experience. Like
Well, because we talk
we could
about
talk about
image,
it. Yeah.
but the image is like, I mean, we're seen as people, we're always laughing, we're always having a good time, we're always doing great, and we're coming home and we're in shambles, and like a lot of my trauma, like was affecting me at home, and then a little bit of the things that I was doing at work, like all of that was trickling, and then like our marriage failing, like everything, all of it like spiraled out of control. I couldn't handle it anymore. I'm a person that always wants to be in control, and I had no control over anything that was happening. And I would say that we no longer hold control over the marriage. It's just with God's hand on it.
Yeah, for sure. I'd say so.
So if there's like one takeaway that you would want everybody to know, like this whole thing behind the badge, like you're an officer, you're just as regular as anybody else, like what exactly would you want people to take away from this podcast?
I honestly would say being a law enforcement officer, just working at the PD in general, or wherever you work, honestly, is give 100% at work. Obviously, do your job, do well. They pay you to do a service. Do the service, but don't half-ass your home and your, the backbone of the people that support you or whatever.
Yeah.
Don't get home and don't work harder at work than you do at home. Put that same effort at home than you do at work. Because I go and I give 150% at work, and then I come home and I give
5%.
15%, 5%, and it's like, holy fuck, I don't cut the grass because I'm too tired because I gave my all at work. No, come home, be with your family, make time for your family. Make time for your family is really what I get to now, because
Healthy balance.
vacationing, go on vacations, use your time. I mean, obviously,
Oh, yeah.
your 400 hours, don't blow it all in one, because it can be needed for the future emergencies. But plan vacations. We're doing that a lot now, which is obviously something that we didn't bring up. But my therapist said, "Hey, do what is it? 2 every 2 weeks."
We haven't kept up with her date night one.
No, what is it? She said every 2 weeks, go on a little date.
Yeah.
Every 2 months, go on a big date and every 2 years
Yeah.
go on like a big family vacation or something like that. I can't remember if those are exact words or not, but I had to go back on my notes that I wrote down. But spend time with your family because your job will, again, they'll fire you tomorrow, and
Yep. And the world keeps
you
moving,
miss
baby.
out. You miss out on the birthdays. You miss out on the holidays, on the special events and milestones that you just miss out on. And again, it's stuff that you sign up for. And I don't regret a lot of it just because I learned a lot from my job and I'm obviously grateful. But a lot of that stuff that I wish I could go back and attend Christmases. I don't know if that's a word, but all the Christmases that we missed out on,
Yeah.
or the holidays and the birthdays and the family vacations that we just missed out on just because, no, I have to go work. But, I mean, everybody's got to work, but I mean, if you can make time for it, definitely make time for it. So,
Well, everybody, you guys have no idea how difficult it was to get this man to show his face on camera or even do an episode with me. But I mean, he did a great job, and a lot of people have been waiting for this. So hopefully, you guys have learned a thing or two from us. We're far from perfect. We were in complete shambles. We still don't have it all together. We probably will never have it all together, but it's safe to say, we're both first responders. We have children. I mean, we always have something going on and take things one day at a time. And yeah, I think I learned a lot about him as well today. And yeah, if you guys enjoyed this, be sure to follow, like, and subscribe to the stories we carry so you don't miss out on any episodes.